You ever notice how the shelves look full, but everything feels off? Prices inch up, package sizes shrink, and that one brand you rely on quietly disappears for restocking. Yeah, that's not random. It's happening everywhere, and it's not the flashy stuff that's going first, it's the everyday workhorses. The small, boring items that keep your life running smoothly when things go sideways. The kind of gear that makes survival comfortable, not just possible. And by the time everyone realizes how valuable these things are, they'll be triple the price, if you can even find them at all. See, inflation doesn't always announce itself. It doesn't come with headlines screaming, "crisis." It creeps in quietly like a thief in the night. Manufacturers are getting sneaky. They shrink your packaging, water down your products, and slap a new formula label on it so you don't notice. But here's the thing. The smart preppers, they notice everything. That's where this list comes in. We're not talking about another rice and beans stockpile checklist. These are the under-the-radar items, the things people overlook because they're not sexy or trendy, but once they're gone, they're gone. So think of this as your early warning, a blueprint for staying ahead of the inflation curve. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which 10 simple items to grab while they're still affordable before everyone else starts panic buying and the shelves go empty again. Item number 10, quality footwear and work boots. Here's something people never think about until it's too late. Your shoes. Not your sneakers, not your flip-flops, but real, durable, quality work boots. The kind that can handle rain, mud, cold, and concrete without falling apart after a month. Because when manufacturing slows down, and we're already seeing it, the materials that make these boots, like leather, rubber, and high-grade stitching, start skyrocketing in price. And the first thing that happens, the quality quietly drops. You'll start seeing premium boots that feel like cardboard and soles that split after a week. Think about it. Everything in a crisis runs through your feet. You're on the move, lifting, hauling, fixing, and sometimes walking miles when vehicles fail or fuel runs out. Your feet are your transport system, and a bad pair of boots is a guaranteed way to ruin your productivity and possibly your health. A blister, a sprain, or frostbite from cheap materials isn't just uncomfortable, it's disabling. In a world where mobility is survival, that's not a small risk. And even if you're not a prepper, good boots are an investment that pays for itself over and over. A $200 pair of waterproof insulated work boots might last you 5 years, while 3 pairs of $70 cheap ones fall apart in a fraction of the time. You end up paying more for less durability. And as inflation bites deeper, that same $200 boot will soon cost what winter tires used to. It's already happening. Major brands have quietly raised prices by 20 to 30% in the last year alone. And once supply chains tighten further, leather shortages will hit hard. So here's the smart play. Buy 2 pairs now, one for use and one for the shelf. You're not hoarding, you're future-proofing. Store the extra pair in a dry, cool place, maybe even slip in a moisture absorber to keep the leather pristine. Because when everyone else is standing in line for cheap imports that can't handle a puddle, you'll be stepping into comfort, traction, and reliability. And remember, this isn't just about comfort. Good boots protect your ankles, keep your body aligned, and prevent injury during heavy work. If the economy goes south, or even if you just face rough weather or power outages, those boots will keep you moving when others are grounded. That's why, out of everything on this list, quality footwear earns a spot. Not because it's flashy, but because it's foundational. You can have all the gear in the world, but if your feet fail you, none of it matters. Item number 9, water filtration replacements. Now let's talk about one of the most overlooked yet most critical survival items, water filtration replacements. Everyone loves to show off their Life Straw, their Sawyer, or their fancy Berkey setup. It's become almost a badge of preparedness. But here's the hard truth. Those filters don't last forever. Every single one has a limit. A lifespan measured in gallons, not years. And once that filter clogs, wears out, or loses its carbon effectiveness, your expensive purification system is basically just a plastic jug. And guess what? Replacement filters are already doubling in price. Why? Because they rely on materials that are in high demand and short supply, like activated carbon, silver-infused ceramics, and fine micron membranes. All of those require energy-intensive production, and when global manufacturing slows, those costs skyrocket. Add in shipping delays and raw material shortages, and suddenly a $40 replacement filter is now $80, if you can even find it in stock. Here's what most people get wrong. They buy the main system, but forget to buy extra filters. It's like buying a flashlight with one battery and calling it done. You need redundancy, backups for your backups. The average person can go weeks without food, but only 3 days without water. And in a grid down scenario, or even a localized emergency like a flood, storm, or contamination event, those filters become gold. So what's the move? Buy extras now. At least 3 to 5 spares for each filtration system you own. Label them clearly with the purchase date and store them dry in airtight containers or zip bags. Don't open them until you need them. Exposure to moisture can degrade the materials over time. And if you use something like a Berkey, make sure you know your flow rates and have pre-filters on hand to extend their lifespan. You'd be surprised how fast they disappear during a crisis. During the Texas freeze, replacement filters were sold out online within 48 hours and stayed that way for months. And that was just a regional disruption. Imagine what happens when global supply chains squeeze even tighter. Item number 8, multivitamins and nutritional supplements. You can eat canned beans and rice every day for months, but without proper nutrition, your body starts breaking down. Low energy, brain fog, weakened immunity. It's all the stuff that sneaks up on you right when you need your strength the most. That's why multivitamins and nutritional supplements are becoming one of the smartest stockpile items you can grab right now before prices jump through the roof. You've probably noticed it already. Shelves looking thinner, prices inching higher, labels changing. The supplement industry depends on global supply chains. Vitamins synthesized in one country, encapsulated in another, packaged in a third. When any part of that chain slows down, everything gets more expensive. And that's exactly what's happening right now. The cost of key ingredients like vitamin D, zinc, and fish oil has quietly doubled in the last few years. Why? Because energy costs, transport issues, and reduced production capacity are squeezing the system from every side. And yet, hardly anyone's talking about it. You can survive on simple calories for a while, but eventually, your body starts craving micronutrients, the stuff that keeps your metabolism running, your muscles strong, and your mind sharp. Without them, fatigue sets in fast. That's why smart preppers treat supplements as insurance. A 12 to 24-month supply of multivitamins, protein powder, and omega oils takes up barely any space but covers massive nutritional ground. Toss in some powdered greens, vitamin C, magnesium, and maybe a bottle or two of probiotics, and suddenly your long-term food storage just got a serious upgrade. And let's not forget, supplements are one of the few preps that don't go bad quickly. Most have a shelf life of 2 to 3 years, sometimes longer if stored cool and dry. That means every dollar you spend now saves you 3 down the road. Plus, they're incredibly lightweight and portable. If you ever have to bug out, a bag of vitamins and protein powder is worth more than 10 cans of soup. Item number 7, manual kitchen gear. Now let's talk about something that's so basic, it's almost invisible. Manual kitchen tools. Think coffee grinders, can openers, hand crank mixers, and old school graters. All the stuff your grandparents used before every appliance came with a power cord. These tools might look quaint now, but when the power goes out, they suddenly become the MVPs of your kitchen. Here's the problem. They're disappearing. Hard to find, poorly made, or priced like collector's items. Why? Because nobody makes them in bulk anymore. Manufacturers are focused on electric everything. Blenders, grinders, choppers, all powered by the grid. But once that grid goes silent, those shiny appliances become nothing more than counter decorations. That's when your $15 hand grinder turns into a $60 lifeline, if you can even find one. And it's not just about power outages. Manual tools don't break down easily. They're simple, mechanical, and repairable. No circuit boards, no batteries, no planned obsolescence. When you buy a solid hand crank grinder or manual coffee mill, you're basically buying independence. You control the speed, the force, and the outcome, no plug required. And that's a big deal when you're rationing fuel or electricity. Think about your daily routines. Grinding coffee, opening cans, mixing dough, chopping vegetables. Most of that can be done manually if you've got the right tools. But the key word there is quality. The dollar store can opener that bends after 2 uses won't cut it. You want cast iron gears, stainless steel blades, and handles that feel like they could survive a tornado. These are one-time investments that could literally last a lifetime if you treat them right. Prices on quality manual gear are already inching up. Stainless steel can openers that were $10 last year are now pushing $20. Hand grinders that used to be everywhere online are going out of stock for months. And as more people start preparing for blackouts and energy rationing, demand will skyrocket. So do what the old school preppers do. Pick up the basics now. A sturdy can opener, a manual grinder, a crank whisk, maybe even a hand crank blender. They take up almost no space. They don't rely on batteries, and they'll outlast every smart appliance in your house. Item number 6, propane adapters and hose converters. Here's one that most people never think about, not because it's complicated, but because it's too small to seem important. Propane adapters and hose converters. These tiny metal pieces are the difference between cooking a hot meal and staring at a cold can of beans. Everyone focuses on storing propane tanks, and that's smart, but without the right connectors, those tanks are just oversized paperweights. And here's the kicker. The tanks will probably stay available. What's disappearing fast are the fittings, the small adapters, Y-splitters, regulators, and hoses that connect everything together. These parts are mostly imported, often from only a handful of factories around the world. When shipping slows or metal prices rise, these are the first items to vanish or spike in cost. We're already seeing it happen. A $7 adapter that connects a 20-pound tank to a camping stove is now $25 in some regions. Not because demand exploded, but because production slowed and freight costs tripled. Think of it this way. You might have 6 propane tanks stacked neatly in your garage, but if your only connector breaks, leaks, or goes missing, all that fuel might as well not exist. That's why serious preppers quietly stockpile hardware, not just consumables. A few connectors, regulators, and extension hoses give you flexibility. They let you link multiple tanks, extend reach, or even adapt between high and low pressure systems. That kind of versatility becomes gold when replacements are impossible to find. And there's another hidden factor: safety. Cheap hoses and fittings often fail under pressure. Literally. A cracked O-ring or stripped thread can cause leaks, and in a confined space, that's a recipe for disaster. If you buy now while options are wide, you can choose quality gear, brass fittings, heavy-duty rubber hoses, and leak-tested adapters. Don't wait until the shelves are bare and you're left with sketchy knockoffs. The smart move? Build your own propane conversion kit. Keep Y-splitters, extra regulators, and several hose lengths in a labeled container. Add some Teflon tape, spare O-rings, and a leak detector spray. It sounds overkill until you're trying to power a grill, heater, and camping stove off one tank during a blackout. That's when this small investment turns into your entire cooking and heating plan. Item number 5, heavy-duty garbage bags. Let's be honest, garbage bags don't exactly scream survival gear. They're not shiny, tactical, or exciting, but when things go south, they suddenly become one of the most valuable and versatile items in your entire stockpile. You won't realize how much you depend on them until the trash stops getting picked up, and it will stop getting picked up. Here's the uncomfortable truth. In any long-term emergency, waste management is one of the first systems to collapse. No garbage collection means piles of waste, contamination, smells, pests, and disease. It's not pretty, but it's real. Heavy-duty garbage bags, especially contractor-grade ones, become your first line of defense against that chaos. They contain, separate, and control. You can line buckets for makeshift toilets, seal food scraps, or even create waterproof covers for gear and supplies. And that's just the beginning. These bags are survival multi-tools. Need to collect rainwater? Garbage bag. Need to waterproof your backpack or make a poncho? Garbage bag. Need to cover a broken window, make an emergency tarp, or improvise a ground sheet? You guessed it, garbage bag. With a roll of duct tape, they can even become makeshift waders, body bags, or emergency shelters. It's one of those you don't know how much you need it until it's gone items. The catch is that the good ones, the really tough contractor-grade 3mm or 4mm bags, are getting expensive. Plastic prices rise with oil prices, and right now, both are climbing. Manufacturers are quietly shrinking rolls, thinning the plastic, or bumping prices a few dollars at a time. It doesn't seem like much until suddenly your go-to 50-bag box costs twice what it used to. That's inflation at work in real time. The smart move is to buy in bulk now while they're still somewhat affordable. Get different sizes, small kitchen bags, medium-duty outdoor bags, and the heavy contractor ones for serious containment. Store them in a cool, dry place, and they'll last for years without issue. Unlike food or batteries, garbage bags don't expire. They just wait patiently until you need them, and when you do, you'll really need them. And don't forget, garbage bags are lightweight and take up almost no space. A single box can fit under a bed or in a closet and will handle everything from sanitation to waterproofing to food storage. They're the kind of item that never goes to waste, no pun intended. Item number 4, sewing and repair supplies. Let's talk about something most people overlook, the humble sewing kit. Thread, needles, fabric patches, zippers, things that used to sit forgotten in a drawer are now becoming low-key survival essentials. It sounds almost quaint, right? But here's the reality. When clothing prices are up nearly 40% and supply chains for textiles are strained, repairing what you already have suddenly becomes a form of self-reliance. Think about it. Your clothes, backpacks, tents, and gear all have one thing in common. They wear down. A ripped seam, a broken zipper, or a torn strap can turn good equipment into useless junk overnight. During normal times, we just replace it. But in a crisis, or even just a period of high inflation, that's not so easy. The cost of cotton, denim, nylon, and even basic sewing kits has quietly crept upward because the raw materials and manufacturing energy behind them have gotten more expensive. So what do smart preppers do? They go back to basics. They keep heavy-duty needles, durable polyester or nylon thread, wax string, and fabric patches on hand. Denim patches for jeans, ripstop patches for gear, and strong thread that won't snap under tension. You don't need to be a tailor, you just need to know how to close a tear or reinforce a seam. 1 minute of stitching can save you from losing an entire piece of clothing or camping gear. And here's the overlooked benefit. Sewing supplies take up almost no space, and they last forever. Needles don't expire. Thread stored in a dry, cool place stays good for years. Wax string resists rot and can double as survival cord. A few small spools and a pack of assorted needles can handle everything from patching a backpack to fixing a tarp. Another underrated part of this category? Zippers, buttons, and snaps. If you've ever had a jacket zipper break midwinter, you know how miserable it gets fast. Keeping a few replacement zippers and a sewing awl can literally save your comfort in cold weather. Buy good quality materials now. Heavy-duty needles, denim patches, waxed thread, a few spools of strong polyester line, even a small hand-sewing machine if you want to go the extra mile. These aren't just tools for hobbyists anymore. They're quiet insurance against waste, inflation, and dependency. Item number 3, lubricants and maintenance fluids. Here's a prepper truth that doesn't get nearly enough attention. Your gear is only as good as your ability to keep it running. And that's where lubricants and maintenance fluids come in. The unsung heroes of long-term survival. Motor oil, WD-40, chain lube, silicone spray. These are the quiet guardians that prevent your machines, hinges, generators, and even weapons from seizing up when you need them most. Without them, metal rusts, gears grind, and engines die. But thanks to skyrocketing petroleum prices, the cost of these items is already on the rise, and it's going to keep climbing. Here's why. Most lubricants are petroleum-based. That means when oil prices surge, so does the cost of everything that comes from it, including the motor oil in your car, the lubricant for your tools, and the WD-40 on your shelf. Add in manufacturing slowdowns and global shipping delays, and you've got the perfect storm for a shortage of something that most people assume will always be there. The solution is simple but strategic. Stock up on multi-use lubricants, engine oils, and chain lubes now while they're still relatively affordable. Keep them in sealed containers away from sunlight and moisture, and they'll last for years. Motor oil has an incredibly long shelf life when stored properly, and WD-40, practically immortal. Don't forget the accessories either. Oil filters, funnels, and rags might not sound glamorous, but they're part of the same system. When things break, rust, or jam, having the right lubricant or cleaner on hand can be the difference between functionality and total failure. And here's a bonus. Lubricants and oils are excellent barter items. In a long-term crisis, people will trade almost anything for something that makes their machines or tools usable again. You can't make oil or grease from scratch in your backyard, but if you have a few extra cans, you suddenly have leverage in any situation. Item number 2, durable lighting gear. When the lights go out, literally, most people grab the nearest flashlight, hit the switch, and hope it works. But in a prolonged blackout or crisis, hope is not a strategy. And those flimsy dollar store flashlights that barely survived one camping trip, they're not going to cut it when the grid's gone for a week. The modern world runs on light. It's how we work, cook, fix, navigate, and stay safe. Yet, few people realize how fragile that luxury really is. When manufacturing halts and imports stall, quality LEDs, lanterns, and rechargeable headlamps vanish first. replaced by cheap counterfeits that burn out faster than a candle in the wind. Real rugged lighting gear isn't easy to make. It needs solid construction, sealed housings, lithium-ion reliability, and sometimes proprietary parts, all things that depend on stable supply chains and rare materials. Once those become scarce, your $30 headlamp becomes a $120 collector's item. So here's the pro move. Invest in rugged, rechargeable LEDs now and double up. One for everyday use, one stored safely for the what if. Go for the kind built for rescue crews and field engineers, not the ones with a dozen brightness modes you'll never use. A few good quality lanterns with adjustable beams can light an entire room during outages. Add a solar-powered or hand crank option for backup, and you'll never be left fumbling in the dark again. And don't stop at lights themselves. Think of everything they depend on. Spare bulbs, rechargeable batteries, and even extra charging cables will all become gold when the shelves go empty. Batteries are already showing price jumps, and that's before the next global lithium shortage hits. So if you're relying on flashlights that take AA or AAA, stock those too, or better yet, switch to rechargeable systems that can run off solar banks. Durable lighting also means strategic lighting. A headlamp frees your hands while you cook, repair, or defend your space. Motion lights around a property can deter trespassers. No electricity needed if they're solar. And glow sticks or chem lights. They're simple, non-electric, and last for years sealed in storage, perfect for signaling, marking paths, or emergency use indoors where candles pose a fire risk. Item number 1, tools and hardware. If the modern world were to stop tomorrow, there's one place that would instantly become a treasure vault: your local hardware store. While everyone else rushes for canned food and toilet paper, the true preppers head straight for the tools. Why? Because everything breaks eventually, and when it does, those who can fix things rule the world. Hammers, pliers, duct tape, screws, wire, nails. These aren't just repair items. They're the physical currency of self-reliance. Without them, your solar setup, rainwater system, and even your makeshift shelter can crumble. And here's the kicker. When imports slow down, these essentials vanish fast. We take it for granted that there will always be a bin of 2-inch screws at the hardware aisle, but when metal prices spike and overseas shipping falters, those bins stay empty. This isn't theory, it's already happening. Simple items like drill bits, electrical tape, and wrenches are climbing in price because the cost of steel and rubber has surged. And the cheap versions, they're breaking faster than ever, made with thinner metal and weaker adhesives to cut costs. The solution is simple. Buy redundancy, 2 of everything small, 1 extra of everything critical. Start with the basics: screwdrivers, wrenches, adjustable pliers, and a good hammer. Then expand to repair essentials: duct tape, super glue, epoxy, nails, and wire. Don't forget sharpening tools and small maintenance items like utility blades and measuring tape. A prepper's kit isn't complete without the ability to build, patch, and reinforce. For more advanced setups, look into hand saws, multi-tools, and portable tool rolls. Battery-powered drills are great, but manual tools, they're forever. A handsaw never needs charging. A wrench never needs software updates, and duct tape has saved more lives than people care to admit. But here's the bigger picture. These aren't just tools for you. They're barter gold. When the day comes that Amazon doesn't deliver, a pack of nails or a roll of tape could trade for food, fuel, or medicine. Hardware becomes currency, so while everyone else is chasing gadgets, stock up on the quiet power of practicality. Fill your shelves with the small, boring, indispensable stuff, the things that keep civilization functioning. So tell me, out of everything on this list, which one caught you off guard? Drop it in the comments and share this video with someone who still believes prices are going back down. Hit like, hit subscribe, and stick around because next time, we're breaking down 15 cheap barter items that could save you after the collapse.